Hello, everybody, and welcome here up at BSN Network. Today is Friday, May 13th. Hopefully, everybody's having a day so far and a good rest of their day yesterday. It is, in fact, Friday, May 13th. Apologize, was not able to get a podcast done yesterday on Thursday, but was able to get one done today. And I'm planning on doing one tomorrow as well. If I get the time, if I find the time, if I'm up to it, I think I'm going to do a podcast tomorrow just on the Jets and Giants schedules, as that was obviously released yesterday. I either figured I'd do it tomorrow or I pre-record one on Sunday night, but I figured tomorrow's easiest. So I might be doing a podcast tomorrow, still up in the air, but I might be doing one tomorrow on Jets and Giants schedules. And just recap and kind of just overviewing them. Not going to give you a full win-loss record. It's May. A lot can happen from May until September, specifically the first week of the season. So, obviously, a lot can happen, but I want to look over each team's schedule, want to look at it, kind of deep dive into it of, the hard parts of the schedule, the must-wins, the good games, and it maybe kind of highlight the NFL schedule as a whole. So I was planning on doing that tomorrow or sometime this weekend. Today, though, is just going to be a quick podcast. We're about an hour out, about an hour and 10 minutes out from the Rangers game. So I want to get a quick podcast done here, get it uploaded, get going, get ready at my TV and watch the game. That's what I want to do right now. So it's a quick podcast today. Yankees got another big win last night. Of course, they're rolling. They're dominating. Best record in baseball. Still 23-8. Picked up their 23rd last night. Judge just continues to smash. Big G, Giancarlo had 2 home runs. 15 runs. I mean, it was a football score. It was like the Jets versus the Bears in Chicago. I mean, it was just a great, great game. It was a lot of fun to watch. It's one of those baseball games that as a fan, it was a long game, but a lot of action and a lot of good action because it was your team that was scoring all the runs. So, a lot of fun last night. Mets also got the win yesterday. They win yet another series, yet to lose a series this year. So New York baseball continues to dominate. Mets with 22 wins, Yankees with 23. Through the first 30-plus games here, New York baseball is on top right now. And it's been a lot of fun to watch, and it's been great to see, especially from my New York Yankees. All right, so let's get to the topics. We're going to start things off, and our only topic today is going to be the Rangers versus Penguins. We're going to preview Game 6 tonight. Rangers got the win on Wednesday night, Game 5 at the Garden. Tonight they go and try and force a Game 7. This is a big game tonight. You force a Game 7, you put all the pressure on Pittsburgh. You're back in your own building Sunday night at MSG. That will then maybe force Crosby to have to come back early. I mean, a lot is on the line tonight. If the Rangers win tonight, I truly think the series shifts completely in terms of who's going to win. It went from Penguins, all they needing is one game, to all of a sudden Penguins almost like they're the underdogs if they lose tonight. Just because of Game 7, where it's at, Rangers would be rolling. So, big game tonight. Yet again, Rangers got their backs against the wall. You got to win it. You got, I look at this as you have 3 games. We won the first one. Now you got to take tonight. Focus on game by game by game. You got to treat every game like it's the Game 7 at this point because there's no room for error. You lose tonight, your season's over. See you in October. So Rangers got to come out, play well. They did that on Friday or Wednesday. Hopefully they can do it again tonight. We'll get into it. Then we'll get to the New York sports update. Finish things off. Mets tonight open up a series at home against the Mariners. 3-game weekend set. Yankees second game of a 4-game set in Chicago against the White Sox. And that's what's on tap tonight in New York sports. Obviously as well, the New York Rangers, 7 Eastern in Pittsburgh at PPG Paints Arena. Game 6 of the first round, Eastern Conference first round series between the Rangers and the Penguins. Alrighty, so with all that being said, a lot to get to. This is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. Alrighty, so series is 3-2. Rangers got the win Friday night. Today's Game 6, 7 p.m. Eastern on TNT. The winner of tonight, if the Rangers win tonight, Game 7 will be on Sunday. I don't know when on Sunday. That's still to be determined. I assume it would be a night game, so I assume they put it on a Sunday night. We'll see, though, obviously, how all that plays out. But tonight's Game 6, and to recap Game 5, and the Rangers were great. Rangers were great Game 5. It started off poorly. It was 2-0 early. Rangers weren't playing their game. It just wasn't good. It just was not what you wanted. Everything you wanted from the Rangers, you were not getting. Penguins forced a lot of shots early on. They were getting a lot of opportunities. They were scoring, and the Rangers looked flat, and then all of a sudden the Rangers went on a scoring spree. 15 minutes and 11 seconds into the second period, they scored their first goal. And then 17 minutes and 53 seconds into the second period, they scored their third goal. So 3 goals in about the matter of 2.5 minutes from the New York Rangers put them up on top 3-2 in Game 5. And then they lost the lead, They lost the lead 13 seconds later. Penguins scored. It was 3-3 going into the third period. And the Rangers did everything they needed to do into third period. They scored a quick goal. Filipino had a very quick goal 2 minutes into the third, 2 minutes, 53 seconds into the third period. Got us started 4-3. And an empty netter by Ryan Lindgren, which was well-deserved after the game he played fighting through an injury. That's clear and obvious. Rangers got the win 5-3. So they did not start particularly well, but they got the goals when they needed to do it. They got the goals when they needed to get the goals, and they did what they needed to do. And they got off to a rough start, and it was clear as day the Penguins were the more physical and faster team out of the start, but the Rangers were able to contain that. Rangers were able to get on a scoring spree, and a big cause of that was Sidney Crosby, who got hurt, got injured, played 2 more shifts after that, went to the locker room, did not return. After that, the Rangers scored all 5 of their goals after Sidney Crosby left the ice. So to say that tonight's game without Sidney Crosby is a huge advantage for the Rangers is an understatement. And it was announced a little while ago that Sidney Crosby's out tonight. And that is a massive loss for the Pittsburgh Penguins. I mean, I oftentimes talk about on this podcast, and I know I repeat myself a lot, but I'm going to continue to say it. I oftentimes talk about how a positive a guy can impact a team when he's there, and how negative he can impact a team when he's not out there. And I understand everybody's talking about, the Penguins are 2-0 in their postseason. In the history with when Sidney Crosby's been out in his career in the postseason, Penguins are 2-0. I get that. I understand that. That's 2 games. And it showed on Wednesday night. When he wasn't out there, it was a completely different game. The Rangers were dominating. The Rangers were putting all the pressure on the net. They were playing great defense. They were getting hits, physicality. The Penguins were not getting anything in front of the net. Usually when Crosby's there, he's up in the goalie's grill. He's getting in front of the net, trying to get shots up. They had no offensive scheme because their lead guy out there, their main guy out there was not out there. They're relying on other guys. Gensel was a goal scorer. They're relying on him to kind of be that playmaker on offense. Malkin, who's been non-existent in this series, he was having to play a bigger role, and that all is going to have to happen again tonight. So to say that the Rangers' chances of winning this game increase a whole lot with Sidney Crosby not out there is right on the dot, is right on the money. Because without Crosby, the Rangers have a massive advantage in terms of offense, in terms of the shots, in terms of defensively, all over the place. Huge advantage for the Rangers. And you never like to see a guy get hurt. You never want to see it. But when somebody goes down, and in a case like this, he misses a game, you need to take advantage of this. You need to capitalize. Because if you win tonight, Crosby might be back for Game 7. So you got to capitalize. Very rare is Crosby out. Out of all the postseason games he was there, he's only missed 2. That's saying something. So Rangers need to capitalize on this. It's an unfortunate situation for Crosby and the Penguins. But for the Rangers, you got to come out. You got to be physical. And I can't stress this enough. It was one thing at home where the crowd was on your side. They got off to a slow start. But when you're on the road, if the Rangers get off to a 2-3 goal deficit early on like they were Wednesday night, it's going to be a whole lot harder. I don't care if Sidney Crosby's out there or not. It's going to be a whole lot harder to bounce back. Because they're going to have the crowd. They're going to be, they're going to be chanting. A young team's going to start to press, going to get anxious. So you got to come out, set the tempo early, quiet the crowd, make the passes you need to make. Don't do anything too fancy. We saw that in games 3 and 4. Rangers were trying to be too fancy, forced a lot of turnovers. Penguins took those turnovers and resulted into 14 goals over the 2 games. Don't do any of that. Protect your goaltender, right? Play good defense. Don't get any of these 3-on-2s, 2-on-1 miss opportunities, disadvantages going back the other way, right? Rangers got to get shots on net. They got to force shots. They have to get shots on net. Rangers through the first couple games were not getting enough shots on net. They have to get shots on net. They have to force the puck at Louis Domingue. And they got 33 shots on goal. And look, they scored 5 goals. One of those obviously an empty netter, but they still scored 4 against Louis Domingue. And as much as you want to say it, Louis Domingue's not your all-star, is your dominant goalie. Igor is a dominant goalie. You get shots on Domingue, they're going to start to go through. He's not a guy, and I'm saying it right now, he's not a guy that's going to go out there and make 55 saves. Right? He's not going to do it. He's not that good. He's good, but he's not 55 saves good. If you continue to get shots on him and you pressure him, they're going to go through eventually. So Rangers got to force pressure on net. And like I said, I can't stress enough on defense. They have a massive hole with Sidney Crosby out. You got to take advantage of that. Physicality. Be physical early. Get off to an early lead. Take the crowd out of the game. I think what would be an ideal start for the Rangers tonight would be a 2-goal first period where you're just physical, you're hitting guys, you're getting shots on net. That, I think, would be the ideal start. Leave the first period with a goal or 2 lead. You can't leave the first period down by 2. That can't happen. You got to be ahead. You got to start ahead. Got to end ahead. And like I said, you win tonight, well, you got an excellent Game 7 waiting for you at Madison Square Garden with that crowd's going to be roaring ready to go. Who knows if Crosby's going to be ready by then. You have all the momentum on your side, winning 2 straight games, forcing all the pressure on Pittsburgh to go on the road and win, not on their home ice. So tonight means a lot. I'm telling you, if the Rangers win tonight, their chances of winning a series go way up just because of how Game 7 could play out and where it would be, what the Penguins could be rolling into that game in terms of bodies and guys out there. So, big game tonight. And like I said, backs against the wall. Similar to on Wednesday. They lose tonight, it's over. Gotta win. I said this. I was talking to somebody on Wednesday before the game. Did not say this on the podcast, but the Rangers got to treat this like a 3-game series. You have to win all 3 games. You got to sweep them. They got to treat this like a sweep. If you want to move on, you got to sweep them. So, Game 1's out of it. Now this is Game 2. Right? You lose tonight, it's over. So, gotta win tonight. Gotta move on. And I'm hoping, I want the Rangers to win. I want them to win so much because as a Net fan, witnessing a first-round exit from the Nets was extremely painful. And as a Ranger fan, witnessing a first-round exit against the Penguins would be even more painful just because of the fact that I hate the Penguins. I probably hate the Penguins more than I hate the Celtics. As much crazy as it sounds, I probably hate the Penguins more than I hate the Celtics because the Rangers are bigger rivalries with the Penguins than the Nets are with the Celtics. And I guess you could always go back to the trade for Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett back in the day, early 2010s, where they turned that lottery pick into Jason Tatum. But that's a different story, different day. I hate the Penguins more than I hate the Celtics. So, as a Net fan, it was painful getting swept. It was painful as all heck. For a team that had finals aspirations to get swept in the first round, that was really bad. So, as a Ranger fan, it's like, I want this so badly because my other sports team over there in Brooklyn stunk. So, let's get a win tonight. Move on to Game 7. Focus on that, which would be Sunday. And like I said, early start, physical, protect Igor, right? This is another thing. You got to be physical. You got to be, I don't want to hear, and that's another thing too. Igor's a young goalie, and this is his first playoff experience. That was those 2 playoff games, Games 3 and 4, were his first road experience. They were obviously in his head. They were cheering Igor. It was clear he was not right. The only way you're gonna help Igor is physical, turnovers, good forecheck. That's the keys for the Rangers. And without Sidney Crosby, that's a massive hole. And you have Lindgren back, who made a huge impact. So, physical, score goals early, set the tempo, take the crowd out of the game. Those are your keys. So, 7 p.m. Eastern tonight, TNT. We're about T-minus about 55 minutes out here. 6:05 Eastern. Game starts at around 7. Although you know how it is. It's more like 7:10. So I guess like an hour and 5 minutes until Rangers-Penguins Game 6. And like I said, Crosby, Dumoulin out. Domingue to start. Rockout game time decision. So Penguins are definitely beat up. Rangers got to take advantage. All right, so let's get to the New York sports update and the rest of the sports. By the way, you see James Harden performances last night. I got to admit, that 76ers Nets trade. Let's say Harden moves on. Let's say Harden goes on to be, and maybe we'll talk more about this in the offseason depending on what happens. But let's say Harden goes play somewhere else. Let's say he leaves. And Ben Simmons goes somewhere else. Because who knows what his future is with the Nets. It's up in the air. You're talking about maybe one of the biggest, like, nothing happened superstar trade ever. Like, a lot of times when you trade for two superstars, like, a lot happens. And we all know how it is. We all know how it is. So, you talk about superstar for a superstar swap. If you look in the history of the NBA, very rarely is there probably a superstar swap that flops so badly as this one. Nets getting Simmons, 76ers getting Harden. Harden stunk in the playoffs. Simmons didn't play 1 minute with the Nets. So, let's say Simmons moves on and goes plays elsewhere, and Harden goes plays elsewhere. You talk about maybe one of the most useless trades in NBA. Sixers didn't even win the finals. Nets were a first-round exit. That's when that trade happened, when that trade went down, we were talking about how big it could be for both teams. Turns out, both teams weren't going anywhere anyway. So, it's definitely crazy. Bucks Celtics tonight. I think the Celtics win this one and force a Game 7. Warriors Grizzlies. I think the Warriors wrap up the series at home tonight. Capitals Panthers. I'll take the Panthers. I think they wrap up the series tonight. I'm going to take the Panthers. Panthers, they're rolling. And Stars Flames. I'm going to take the Flames series win tonight. Rangers Penguins. Game 6, 6.5 over. The over-under set at 6.5, 7 p.m. Eastern on TNT. I got to roll with the Rangers. Give me the blue shirts. LGR. Let's go Rangers. Going to take them. Reds Pirates. Brewers Marlins. Astros Nationals. Blue Jays Rays. Tigers Orioles. Braves Padres. Red Sox Rangers. Guardians Twins. Giants Cardinals. Royals Rockies. Angels A's. Diamondbacks Cubs. Phillies Dodgers are your games tonight. Mets Mariners. First game of 3-game set at Citi Field, 7:10 p.m. Eastern on SNY. Mets are 22-11. Mariners coming to this one 14-18. Gonzalez on the mound for the Mariners. He's 1-4 with a 3.91 ERA. And Max Scherzer takes the hill for the Mets. He's 4-1 with a 2.92 ERA. The over/under is set at 9, or the over/under is set at 7.5. And as for the Yankees, White Sox, Yankees 23-8. White Sox 15-15, 8:10 p.m. Eastern. You can find us on NBCS Chicago and Yes Network. Game 2 of a 4-game set at Guaranteed Rate Field in the south side of Chicago. Garrett Cole is on the mound. He's 2-0 this season with a 2.67 ERA. And Vince Velasquez is on the mound. He's 2-2 with a 3.97 ERA. The over-under is set at 8. I'll take the Yankees. By the way, I went to the Yankees-Phillies game last year. It was the game where Tyone didn't even get out of the first inning. It was at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. And Vince Velasquez was on the mound. He then got traded to the Padres at the trade deadline. Now he's on the White Sox. So, it's interesting because the Yankees faced him last year. Given the fact that he was on 2 National League teams last year, you wouldn't think the Yankees faced him, but they did. As for fantasy baseball, in my one league, I'm losing 192 to 161. I got Bueller, Logan Webb on the mound. And as for my main league, I'm currently winning 217 to 103. And I got a lot of pitchers going. I got Scherzer, Logan Webb, Aaron Savall, and Kyle Gibson. My line was pretty similar. No real new injury updates on the on the guys that are on the IL, other than Vaughn. Vaughn hand is in the lineup for Friday's game against the Yankees after being activated from the 10-day IL. Lamont Pope of the Chicago Tribune reports. So he's activated. I'll probably take him off the IL. I'll probably add him and then drop Jock Peterson. That's probably the move I'll make there. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But, yeah. So I'll probably activate him, drop Jock Peterson, and we'll see how that all goes. But anyway, that will do it about it, like I said, about 15 minutes out. 15 minutes out here from the Rangers game. So, want to finish this up, get it uploaded, and then get watching the Rangers because that's not too far out here. So, that will do it for the podcast here today. Another good one in the books. Like I said, keep your eye out if you're interested. I might be doing a podcast tomorrow on the Jets and Giants schedules, kind of just breaking it down. I might, flip some, what could be wins and losses and, good games and, easy wins and all that good stuff in there. But I usually don't do my record prediction until either August or September or right before the season. It's somewhere around when I do my power ranking. So that's a little bit down the road. So we'll see. But tomorrow I definitely, I just in terms of overview, I want to go through it. I think the Jets have a very tough start to the season. I think the Giants have some stretches as well. I think both teams lighten up in the second half. So that could, definitely be interesting in terms of, how the season plays out and where you're going to get the majority of your wins and where you're going to see a lot of the positives from the team. And, there's also some good games to look out for. And the Jets the Jets start the season with 4 AFC North opponents. It goes Ravens at home, Steelers on the road, Bengals at home. Or how you go? Rangers at home, Ravens at home, Browns on the road, Bengals at home, Steelers on the road. I believe that's how it goes. I could be wrong. I might be wrong. Let me check here. I might be wrong, but I think that's how it goes. It is. Yeah, it's versus the Ravens, at Browns, or home against the Ravens, at the Browns, home against the Bengals, at the Steelers. That's your first 4 weeks. So all AFC North opponents. So it's going to be a lot of physicality, and a lot of running. We know how the AFC North is. So we'll see how it all goes. But I want to get into that. So I might be doing a podcast tomorrow. So keep your eyes out for that. But that will do it. Either way, enjoy your weekend. Tomorrow will just be Jets-Giants. It won't be anything else, no New York sports update or anything like that. It will just be Jets-Giants schedules. That will be it. But as for the all sports podcast on here, that will be all back on Monday with Yankees and all that good stuff. And on Sunday, as you all know, I got my Bubs Talking Baseball podcast on Apple Podcasts if you're interested in that. So that will do it. As always, I will see you on the flip side, either a pod tomorrow, and if I do a pod tomorrow as well, back on Monday after the weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy all the sports. Enjoy it all. Go Rangers. And, as always, hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.